And now we're
This one?
what?
No. I'm a diet, no.
You want it? You want it?
Hello.
It is my Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to our first RAC Biggest Weight Loser Challenge 2023 OB-Fit webinar. This is the third in the series in which we have more than 9,000 registrations. As part of the program, we will be sending all participants a weekly health tips and will be inviting everyone to our weekly webinars on obesity management with comprehensive information on nutrition, exercise, psychology, and medical aspects to be delivered by our medical and health experts. One of the biggest challenges faced today, which many of us can relate to, is obesity and being overweight. This can be due to overeating and sedentary lifestyle, which can lead to metabolic disorders such as diabetes, hyperlipidemia, heart issues, joint ailments, and many others. In the UAE, 40% of adults are overweight. 40% of teenagers aged between 11 to 16 years old and 20% of children below 11 years old are sadly classified as obese. In today's topic, Insights of Overweight and Obesity Management, I am greatly honored to introduce our distinguished speaker, none other than Professor Adrian Kennedy. Professor Adrian Kennedy is a multifaceted person. In academics, he has degrees in business, law, and a PhD in health studies from the USA. He was the founder director of Harvard's Institute of Lifestyle Medicine and has hailed by Harvard Medical School USA as a pioneer in lifestyle medicine. In his college years, he was the national champion of India in the 100 and 200 meters and an Asian champion in athletics. He was a member of the team that swam the English Channel from England to France, has trekked in the Himalayas, and is a black belt karate instructor. He was a member of the committee that organized the Asian and Commonwealth Games in India. In corporate life, he was the Director Executive Health in Tata Steel, where he received the Government of India Award for Sports Management. As Managing Director Apollo Life, he pioneered corporate health in India. As Chief Wellness Officer, RAC Hospitals and Group, he received several awards, including Best Health Researcher in UAE, Best Wellness Company in GCC, among many others. Friends, please help me welcome Professor Adrian Kennedy.
Good morning, friends, and Lylene, thank you so much for that very kind introduction. As you can see on our screen, I will be talking about obesity and its management through lifestyle, specifically nutrition and exercise. Now, while talking on the subject of obesity, we will touch upon three aspects: the entire concept of obesity, its causes, the effect on the one hand, the assessment, how do you know whether or not you are overweight, and of course, the management. We will thereafter move on to talk about the other aspects of lifestyle medicine. So there are three aspects of our talk today. One is the specification of obesity. The second is how to manage obesity through lifestyle change and specifically through nutrition and exercise. Coming to obesity per se, we will talk about how we assess it, what are its causes and its hazards, and how we can manage it. Now, when you talk in terms of the assessment of obesity, we could see it from two perspectives. One is the perspective of the individual who is overweight and wants to know whether he is classified as overweight or obese or whatever. And the second is from the perspective of a medical professional who would like to know precisely how overweight the individual is. And for that, we would use, and also to identify the location of adipose tissue and fat in different aspects of, in different locations of the body. And for that, we would use the CT and MRI. However, in this instance, our presentation is for a lay public, individuals who are themselves overweight, and therefore we give you ways and means by which you can quantify whether or not you are overweight or obese, as the case may be, or whether you are in the normal weight range. So we have several aspects. One is using the height weight range, which was created by the Metropolitan Life Insurance in 1900, where they created a structure which says this is a height of an individual, this is the acceptable weight for male or female. If you go beyond this, you are overweight. And the creation of that product came through vast medical research. In around 1930s, Dr. Broca created a new index called the Broca's Index, in which an individual could quantify himself as being overweight or obese, as the case may be, by simply understanding his weight in centimeters. For example, I am 6 feet tall. I would be 183 centimeters. Now, Dr. Broca suggested that in the 183 centimeters, if you minus 100, you are left with 83. My weight should not exceed 83 kgs. In other words, the Broca's Index is a tool by which your height in centimeters minus 100 will give you your weight. And in case your weight is in excess of that number, you would be considered overweight. Much later in the 60s, or perhaps even earlier, we created what was known as the body mass index. And there are other systems or measurement tools. For example, the skin fold body fat ratio. in which you measure the quantity of fat under the skin by using a caliper or your forefinger and thumb, etc. And also the waist to height ratio, in which you simply measure your waist against your height. And if your waist is more than 50% of your height, you would be considered overweight or over fat. Let's look at these systems in a little detail. Here, for example, is a height weight range for male and female of non-European descent. And that would include African, it would include our Middle East, it would include most of Asia. This indicates your height, and beside it, it indicates the minimum and maximum weight for a male and the minimum and maximum weight for a female. It goes up to 6 feet, and in case you happen to be more than 6 feet, you simply add 1 kg to the minimum and maximum, and you will identify your height weight range. Now, Europeans by large are structurally larger than Asians, and therefore they have a 5 kg additional range, which means if you look at a European of 5 feet and he's a male, his weight range would be 60, 55 plus 5 would make it 60 to 70 kgs. That is his minimum to maximum, and so on and so forth. So one method of identifying whether you are overweight is simply to take the height weight range. Now, I've also told you that there is the Broca's index, in which you simply minus 100 from your height in centimeters, and if the number exceeds your weight, you are overweight. Around the 50s, 60s, the medical fraternity created for their own classification what is known as the BMI range. And in the BMI range, again, they utilized height and weight as a tool for measurement, and then categorized the individual into various categories according to the weight derived. If you are severely thin, it would be 16. If you are normal, it would be 18 to 25. If you are overweight, it would be 25 and over. Now, this is a BMI range, and the classification would look like this. You have thin, normal, overweight, and obese on the one hand, and then you have the weight, height, and weight measurement on the other hand, and you can quantify yourself. For example, I am 182, that would be 6 feet. My weight is regretfully 83, and therefore I am 1 kg. I come into the overweight category according to BMI. Okay, I should lose a little weight and remain in 82 at least. Between 73 and 82 is what I should be. So this is another form of measurement. Another way to look at obesity is to identify the quantity of fat within the human body. Now, if you were male, under normal circumstances, you would have between 18 to 23% body fat. And if you are female, for biologic reasons of lactation, childbirth, and other such reasons, you have a slightly higher body fat ratio of about 23 to 30%. Now, how do you know whether you have too much body fat? in a medical sense, you would use a caliper and measure the skin fold at the tricep, the back, the waist, or the thigh. And there is a calculation which would indicate your percentage of fat. For simple reasons, or in a public screening, or for screening at home, you can simply use your finger and thumb and measure the fat at your waist, just at the side of your stomach. Measure that. And then you weigh that, you compare that to a scale. And if it is more than 1 inch or 25 millimeters, it would mean that you have 25% body fat. Or if it is 30 millimeters, it is 30%, and so on. This is a rough indication. But a simpler way to do this would simply be to understand your height and then measure your waist. And in case your waist is more than 50% of your height, you may consider that you have additional adipose body fat tissue, especially in the abdominal region. Now, if more than 50% of the human population is overweight, especially of the developed economies, of which the UAE is one, if you say that the majority of our population is overweight, then you would like to know the causes. I have identified a few causes for your knowledge. It could be that you have inherited your body structure from your parents or grandparents. Now, does this mean that you are genetically programmed to be fat for the rest of your life? Yes. The answer to that question is no. You're genetically structured according to your parents or grandparents. But whether or not you are slim or fat depends on how you manage your environment or you manage your lifestyle. So if your parents are fat and you seem to be genetically programmed to be fat, you may simply manage your exercise and diet and sleep and so on and so forth and maintain an average or a normal body weight. Now, it's perfectly possible that you may be genetically slim. Can you get fat? The answer to that question is yes. By overeating and under-exercising, you can put on weight. Now, you already know, as I have mentioned earlier, that the female has 30% fat and the male has about 18 to 20% body fat. So obviously, the propensity of the female to put on fat or weight, or to have excess body fat or weight, or to have more body fat is greater than that of the male. But surprisingly, we find that more males are overweight than females. So there must be a reason for that. It could be overeating, it could be a sedentary life. Now, when you are young, your metabolism is high, your body is active. If you are in the growing stages, there is growth, and all the food that you eat is metabolized and converted into tissue. It could be muscle, it could be bone, it could be blood. it could be organs. All of this, the growth and the regeneration of all of this, besides the body's internal structures, depends largely on the food that you might eat. But as you get older, your metabolism slows down. It slows down at the rate of 1% per year. And when you are 60 years old or 70 years old or even 50 years old, your metabolism would have reduced by almost 50%, which means that you are not burning as much energy as you did when you were young. But since you are maintaining the same food intake, the extra amount that is not utilized as energy is being converted into fat. Now, there are other reasons why individuals get fat, and one is eating habits. Now, when I talk in terms of eating habits, I especially refer to commercial foods. Commercial foods have high levels of fat, oil, they are fried. Besides containing chemicals and toxins, they are calorie rich and calorie dense. As a consequence, they have low food value and high fat value. One of the best ways to lose weight is not to eat too much of commercial foods and to eat at home more. Now, we do know that physical activity utilizes fat, but little did we know until a decade or two back that your emotions and your hormones and the chemicals in your body that manage the internal environment, if inappropriately activated or deactivated by body stresses or injury or ailment, then the entire metabolic system goes haywire and you can put on weight by being unhappy, by being highly stressed, and by having problems, by lack of sleep, and so on. Now, this is an interesting concept, so I will talk about it in a separate slide also. Now, I mentioned prosperity and poverty. In case you are living in a country, or in case you individually do not have enough food to eat, which is termed as poverty, you can't possibly put on weight. But for those unfortunate individuals, and I use the word unfortunate in the context of what I'm saying, those individuals who live in prosperous countries and who are individually prosperous have a large capacity and reach for food. Therefore, they tend to eat too much and put on weight. And then, of course, there are medical situations in which you put on weight. Hypothyroidism is one such example, where the body's metabolism is slowed down, and as a consequence, you tend to put on weight. And there are certain medications that also put on weight, even while there are many medications that help you to lose weight. Now, I spoke to you about emotions and hormones. Now, what is a hormone? A hormone is the secretion of a chemical by the endocrine system that manages the internal regulation of the body and also the emotions. Now, consider, for example, I've spoken about the thyroid. Consider, for example, that you have hyperthyroidism, a medical situation, it would then mean that your metabolism is high and the probability of you being fat is low. But consider that you have hypothyroidism. No matter what you do, your metabolism will be low. And if you even think of food in a manner of speaking, you will put on weight. And therefore, we hear people who say, even if I drink water, I tend to put on weight. There's a great possibility that this is because of the malfunction of your thyroid or other such glands. Consider that there are other hormones, like for example, cortisol. This increases your appetite, and the excess release of cortisol, which is the excess release of this cortisol, which gives you a sense of comfort, makes you hungry. It increases your appetite. Consider then that another hormone called leptin, which gives you a sense of comfort in terms of having eaten enough, is dysfunctional. Then you will never feel full and you will continue to eat. So hormones have the effect of managing your emotions and disrupting your metabolic system. You may well say, how do I manage my hormone? It's simple enough. Eat a balanced diet with sufficient protein, exercise daily to burn energy and fat, reduce eating simple carbohydrates, manage your stress, emotions, and sleep sufficiently, avoid alcohol and other such simple lifestyle ailments. But of course, do not forget to refer to your doctor. Now we are talking about obesity, and why do we talk about obesity? Because obesity is the bedrock of most diseases. It will either cause or make the disease that you have worse. All the chronic diseases, whether it is hypertension or diabetes or hyperlipidemia, are all made worse by obesity, and even caused by diabetes. Cardiorespiratory ailments, your heart and lung, are all compromised by obesity. Metabolic disorders, musculoskeletal disorders. Your body cannot carry the load of its burden of weight, and therefore you have back problems and joint problems and ankle problems. And then you are overweight, you have enough depression and anxiety, which creates its own cycle of emotion, which disrupts the endocrine system, and you remain in a cycle of obesity. So how do we manage weight? Now, we've spoken about the cause, we've spoken about the effect. How do we manage obesity? There are three different ways. I really should have spoken about surgical last, but since it's up front, I will talk about it first. Medical and lifestyle. Now, the surgical and medical aspects can only be initiated by your doctor. When will the medical professional initiate these activities? In case you are more than double your weight in terms of body weight. I'm meant to be 100 kgs by my height, but I am 200 kgs. Then it puts the body under tremendous pressure. It results in a whole series of morbidities like hypertension, diabetes, which again has its own impact on the body. Under these circumstances, the doctor might recommend surgical solutions. Now, you may think that a surgical solution is extreme, but it is probably the most successful way of losing weight. And I know many, many individuals who have been grossly obese, who had a bad quality of life, who underwent surgical intervention, and today, for the last 20 years, have remained within their body weight and lived a vigorous life. Later on in this series of webinars, we will give you a complete session on surgical solution. Now, if you are overweight, but not grossly overweight, but you are, instead of maybe even 100 kgs, you are slightly overweight, or you are in the overweight category, you can easily fall victim to coexisting morbidities. Again, cardiac ailments, hypertension, arthritis, and so on and so forth. So, your doctor may decide that I am going to manage this with medication. Manage obesity with medication. And then he will provide you with drug therapy or medication, which will, as a consequence, reduce your appetite. Reduce your appetite and desire to eat. It will reduce the absorption of nutrients into the body. It will burn, increase the metabolism, and burn energy. But that is the decision that your doctor will take. And he will only take that decision if you already have existing comorbidities. Otherwise, he will simply tell you, lifestyle change. Modify your lifestyle and reduce your weight. So, how do you modify lifestyle? And what is lifestyle management? I have the great honor of thinking about lifestyle management 50 years ago when I was a young student. I went on to do my postgraduate studies. I was fortunate to be located in Harvard for a period of time to deliver a few lectures there. And we created what is known as the Lifestyle Association, a world body that manages lifestyle. Now, when it comes to obesity, there are two aspects of lifestyle that are vitally important. What is lifestyle? Lifestyle is living an appropriate life in order to avoid disease. And this would mean, 1, having an annual medical check, 2, eating a moderate, appropriate, balanced diet, 3, exercising every day for 30 to 60 minutes, 4, sleeping approximately 8 hours a day, 5, avoid smoking, avoid alcohol, manage your safety. These are the rules of lifestyle. 2 or 3 of these rules are vitally important in the management of obesity. I presented 2, nutrition and activity. Now, nutrition by itself is a 5-year postgraduate subject, but I will present it to you in a few slides. First of all, a balanced diet is vitally important. And a balanced diet simply means that you eat all types of foods within the appropriate quantities. Rice, wheat, and cereal at 60%, vegetables and fruit, which has fiber and aids in digestion, 20%, milk and protein, which builds body tissue, 10%, and then, of course, in order for the food to taste better, condiments such as oil and sugar, which is in small quantities to make the food palatable. So you're talking about cereal, fruit and vegetable, small quantities of meat in order to have a balanced diet. Now, what do these things do? I've spoken about carbohydrate and protein. What does a carbohydrate do? A carbohydrate gives you energy. It also helps to clean the fiber in fruit and vegetable, helps you to clean the digestive tract. It keeps it clean and pure. Protein, whether it is meat or whether it is beans and gram and pulses, helps the body tissues to grow and repair themselves. And then you have fat, which is the source of energy. All extra food is converted into fat and then broken down into energy when required. So this is the broad structure of macro and micronutrients. A micronutrient is the healing aspect of food. Vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that help you to keep the body healthy. Now, all foods contain calories. A calorie is a unit of energy. So, the rule is food intake and food output, which is exercise and activity, and intake is the food you eat, and output is the activity you do. Both these must be balanced so that the amount of food you eat is utilized by the body and there is no excess carry over. So all foods contain calories, as you can see. If you take an egg, which is 80 calories, and you fry the egg by adding oil, it becomes 100 calories because of the additional teaspoon of oil. You make it into a cheese omelette, it becomes 120 calories by addition of the cheese. Except for water, all foods contain calories. Now, if you go to the website, the Biggest Weight Loser Challenge website, there is a complete calorie chart in the health information vertical. Have a look at it. I would recommend that each of you should eat about 1200 calories and not more. If you eat more than that, it will convert to fat. So even while there are more precise measurements, off the cuff, I would say anything between 1000 to 1200 calories is good to manage your life and for you to lose weight. Now, how do you lose weight? By doing exercise activity. Now, you saw on the earlier slide the number of calories contained in food. Now you are seeing the number of calories expended or utilized by activity. Walking is perhaps the best exercise activity an overweight individual can do in case you do not know how to swim. Walking is excellent, cycling is excellent, swimming is probably the best because it takes load off the body, the knees and the ankles. So by walking for an hour, you burn about 250 to 350 calories. By eating a single meal, you eat 300 to 350 calories or even more. Therefore, if you do not exercise, you have to forego a meal. And I would recommend as a general recommendation that all of us who need to diet, who need to lose weight, must preferably avoid eating a meal at night. You may have a soup or glass of milk before you go to sleep, but all food eaten before you go to sleep is converted into fat. Now, we've discovered that we eat approximately 2,500 calories. Of this 2,500 calories, 50% is used by the body for digestion and all these other factors. If you do not do any exercise, there will be excess calories, and you will see at the end of the arrow, you will be fat and obese. So the answer is, besides the body utilization of calories for digestion, respiration, and all body functions, utilize at least 500 calories for exercise activity, an hour's walk. Now, if you burn 500 calories a day, in a week, you will burn 3,500 calories. In a month, you will burn 7,000 calories, which is, or 14,000 calories, which will be 2 or 3 kgs. So exercise is a good way for you to lose weight. Now, anyone who is overweight has heard about different types of diets. I will talk about a few of them. Children, except if advised by the doctor, must never be put on diet. Children must be allowed to eat robustly, subject to the fact that they play robustly. They must go out and play games for 1 or 2 hours every day. And this does not include TV games, mobile games. They must go out and play football or basketball or cycling. But children should preferably not be put on a diet, except if advised by the doctor. Adults, on the contrary, must reduce their food intake. Adults, on the contrary, must reduce their food intake. And how do you reduce it? In a simple way, by eating very little at night. Have a liquid diet at night, milk, soup, and so on, so that you do not accumulate body fat, but do not forget your exercise activity every day. Now, in case you have hypertension or diabetes, there are specific diets and specific guidelines. But irrespective of all of this, a diabetic diet, for example, will tell you to avoid carbohydrates and sugar. And a hypertension diet will probably tell you to avoid salt and fat. But whichever way you look at it, you have to reduce your food intake, and you have to have your medication, and you must do your exercise. Now, there are several diets. The Atkins diet, the Pritkins diet, the zone diet, the glycemic index diet, the GM diet, and so on, the paleo diet, intermittent fasting, and so on and so forth. And all these diets will help you to lose weight at the rate of about 5 to 7 kgs within a month. But they are not balanced diets. And since they do not recommend exercise along with it, you will immediately you go off the diet, you will then put on extra weight. For example, if you were to look at the Atkins diet, it has no carbohydrate. It has low carbohydrate. So these are not balanced. They will have their own impact on the body. The recommended diet is a balanced diet. Medically, the Mediterranean diet is your best bet. It has everything. It has whole grain carbohydrate. It has vegetables and fruit. It has moderate intake of protein. It has intake of fish and meat. And it has a recommended intake of 10 to 15 kilometers of walking every day. Avoid sugar, salt, fat, and processed commercial foods. These increase the free radicals in the body and cause cancer. Stay with a balanced diet of cereal, fruit, dairy products, meat, and sufficient fluid. What is sufficient fluid? About 6 glasses of water in a day. Now, I've said water in preference to anything else. Now, one aspect is the food you eat, and the second aspect is the exercise you do. And why would I talk about exercise? I talk about exercise because it is probably the most important statement I can make. Now, if you have blood pressure, you take a pill. If you have diabetes, you take a pill. If you have hypercholesteremia, you take a pill. You take a pill for almost any medical problem, and I'm sure that these pills are valuable. But there is no pill that covers the entire spectrum of human ailment. The only activity that covers and benefits the entire spectrum of human ailment, whether it is hypertension or diabetes or obesity or arthritis or stress or depression, is exercise. Exercise is a remedy for almost and a solution for almost any ailment that you might have. If that is the case, how do we do this? First of all, activity. Be more physically active. Do not take a lift if you can climb the steps. Do not use the escalator if you can climb the steps. Avoid using the car if you can walk. These are normal day-to-day activities. And then don't forget your daily walk for half an hour, or your swim, or your cycling. Exercise in the form of walking, swimming, or cycling will give you cardiorespiratory benefit. It will strengthen the heart and strengthen your lungs. Why are we talking about strength exercises? Strength exercises strengthen the muscle. The muscle utilizes, increases metabolism. Metabolism burns fat, and therefore the more muscular you are, the thinner, the more muscular you are, the less fat you have. So take a look at our website and you will find simple exercises that you can do at home. A push-up, a sit-up, a squat, 10 repetitions of each done every day will give you profound benefits. And there is no reason why you should not go to the gym. No reason. If you go to the gym, you will strengthen your muscles, you will improve your metabolism, you will reduce fat. So, going to the gym for individuals who are overweight is an excellent idea. You will see weight loss is a lifetime activity. Do not expect results in a day or two in a month. Evaluate yourself year on year, and you will find in a short period of time of a couple of years that you have completely lost all your obesity. Arthritis and spondylosis and joint ailments are a problem with obesity. Don't forget to move every joint in the body, whether it is the neck or shoulder or wrist or elbow or waist, or your spine or your hip or your knee or your ankle. 10 rotations of each of these will keep these flexible. How do you keep fit? Before I talk about that, yoga. Yoga balances the internal endocrinic system. So it will balance the internal hormones and keep you healthy. Talk to your yoga professional to help you. How do you keep fit? Very simple. By exercising 30 minutes a day or 60 minutes a day, 6 to 7 days in the week, preferably 6. On the 7th day, you can rest. Exercise should be in moderation. You should enjoy your exercise. It improves your health. It should be easy to do. Low level activity over a long period of time burns fat. Intense activity over a short period of time burns sugar. Exercising strengthens the immune system. It improves the quality of life. And so we come to my last slides. How do we manage weight? By managing your diet. Avoid eating too much. Have a light meal at night. Take your weight once or twice a month. Eat sufficient complex carbohydrate. That would be rice and grain. Avoid too much of fat and oil. Eat sufficient green vegetables. Avoid a heavy dinner. Exercise every day. This would be a good remedy for management of your weight from a lifestyle perspective. And with that, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies for having exceeded my time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor, for that enlightening talk. Now, I am sure all the participants are eager to ask questions, so we would like to call in Dr. Wilco for the Q&A.
Thank you, Lailin. First of all, thank you, Professor Kennedy, for a wonderful presentation. You have put all technical information together in the simplest word for everyone, for a technical people also and for a layman person also. Thank you very much. Sir, we have received many questions in an email also, but in chat box it's also full. So I will take the first question. It's actually a concern, but I will convert it to a question. Umair Ali is asking, obesity is more, he's saying obesity is more due to processed food, the day to day we are consuming. So I will put it as a question, whether you suggest processed food, or you already said processed food is the main culprit for gain weight. So what is your thought about it?
The solution is simple enough. The solution is simple enough. You avoid processed food. Now, what is processed food? Processed food is commercial foods. Processed food is the food that you get when you go to a restaurant. Let us assume you're talking about Kentucky Fried Chicken or McDonald's or whatever. So that would be processed food. Now, I've heard it frequently mentioned that when you go to the mall, you buy rice and wheat and bread and other such foods. The question to ask, are these processed? No. If you buy whole wheat products, it is not processed at any rate. The other option would be to eat organic. Now, organic is rarely available. So my solution to the question is simply this. Number one, please avoid eating processed foods from restaurants, fast food joints, and so on and so forth. If at all you have to eat out, please ensure that it does not exceed a day a week at best. Number one. Number two, when it comes to the mall, to the supermarket, when you go to buy food, please read the label and try and buy those foods that are best suited for you. Whole grain products, and so on and so forth. This would be your best solution. If you can buy organic foods, so much the better. But if you cannot, please understand this, that the impact of mall foods is not more than 12% on your toxicity as opposed to processed foods, which goes up to 45 to 50% of toxicity. Processed foods is what must be avoided.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. Second question is from Harsahaj. What type of diet should you prefer for a weight loss? Is there any specific food which helps to lose faster? You have already mentioned, but beautiful question. You can answer accordingly. Any specific food? People are so eager to lose weight. They wanted a shortcut, quick fix solution for the food also. Sir.
You know, Dr. Wilku, I have two thoughts on this. You said a quick fix solution. I wonder if the weight that we've all put on has come overnight or has it come over the years? Most likely it has come over the years. Okay, that's number one. Number two, if you want a quick fix solution, then I would advise you seriously to consult your doctor. When you consult your doctor, he will advise you whether you should have a surgical solution, which is in your life's interest, or whether you should have medical solution, which will increase your metabolism and reduce your food absorption. Medical solutions are instant and immediate. But if you are looking at an immediate solution for diet, understand this, friends. Diet is a lifetime activity. You don't diet only to lose weight, you diet also to keep healthy. So, but I can give you some simple answers. Avoid calorie-dense food. Now, understand this. Fat contains 9 calories per gram. Alcohol contains 7 calories per gram. Protein contains 4 calories per gram. Carbohydrate contains 4 calories per gram. Water contains 0 calories per gram. Keep the food that you eat on the low levels of calories. And one last statement. Please listen in to Dr. Wilku's presentation when he makes it on alternative therapies. He has an excellent presentation that correlates weight loss with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Now, there are two corrected questions I would join together. Sammy and Piyush Pandey is asking about the exercise. Is it okay to do exercise after having a meal? And which is the best time to do exercise? This is a frequent question we come across. And second, what type of gym exercises are helpful for reducing a weight?
Okay, I'll answer your question first, talking about time. Now, the question is, should you exercise after a heavy meal? Understand this. The quantity of blood in the body at 5 liters approximately is fixed. It doesn't increase or decrease. Now, when you eat your food, all the food goes to the digestive tract to help in digestion. Okay? If at that time you go to do exercise, the body does not have sufficient blood to move to the muscle. When you exercise at that point of time, you will have a cramp or you will have an injury. So therefore, the recommendation is simple enough. You never exercise until 2 hours after a heavy meal. You eat a heavy meal, let the digestion process start, let the food move out of the stomach into the large intestine. Then thereafter, you have enough excess blood supply to be able to manage the muscles. 2 hours after a meal, you can exercise. Now, that was the first part of the question. But most of us, including me, if I want to do my exercise, I always have a light meal before I exercise. Now, that could be a slice of toast, it could be a fruit, it could be a glass of juice, or any of these things. A light meal will enable you to exercise immediately. A heavy meal, 2 hours. Now, the second question that was asked was, is there any exercise in the gym that helps you to lose weight? My dear friend, all exercises help you to lose weight. There is no single exercise that helps you to lose weight. Exercise burns calories. Reduced calories results in utilization of fat, which helps you to lose weight. Now, if you are asking me, can I do sit-ups to lose muscle or to lose weight? I will tell you that the sit-up will strengthen your abdomen, but the exercise per se will reduce weight. So I'll answer your question in two ways. If you want to lose weight, friends, walking, cycling, swimming, or jogging is one activity for half an hour. The other half hour, please do your gym training. It will strengthen your muscle. It will increase your metabolism. It will reduce body fat. There is no single exercise. A total comprehensive program is your best answer.
Thank you, Professor, for a wonderful reasoning and explanation about this. Next question is Daphne is asking, is it okay to take vitamin C when the person is on diet?
There is something called OTC, which means over-the-counter medications, which we all tend to take even without a medical prescription. Vitamins and minerals are one of these. Now, vitamin C, A, C, and E, vitamin A, C, and E, these vitamins are absorbed frequently every day and utilized. They cannot be stored. And since they cannot be stored, whichever way it is, it results in toxicity if you have too much. So let me step back a little bit. As far as vitamins are concerned, you may have a multivitamin pill every day if you are above a certain age, let us say 45 years old, or if you are in your growing stage. I have a multivitamin and a multimineral pill every day. Now, as you can see, I have very little hair, and as a consequence, my doctor has advised me to have zinc. So I also take an additional tablet of zinc. Now, Daphne, if your doctor has advised you to take a vitamin C, please go ahead, even during your diet. Please go ahead. But my best advice to you is, please refer to your doctor before taking any vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and flavonoids, etc., in order to avoid unnecessary cost and toxicity.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. There is one interesting question. Daniel is asking, does keto diet help in type 2 diabetes? There is one just now, I received one WhatsApp message also. The person, he did tell his name, and he is asking about, is keto diet good for the blood pressure? Because he's suffering from blood pressure also. So what about the keto diet?
Okay.
For type 2 diabetes and blood pressure.
You know, a keto diet, like the Atkins diet preceded the keto diet. The keto diet is a recent version of the Atkins diet, which came up in the 50s or 60s. This presupposes that you have high levels of protein and fat. Surprisingly, the keto diet allows you to have high levels of fat and high levels of protein. It also gives you low levels of carbohydrate. Now, the question to ask is this a good diet? Whether it is for diabetes or whether it is for anything, any diet which modifies the balanced diet, which gives you excess fat or excess protein or excess carbohydrate, is not a diet that I recommend. There are better diets. There are therapeutic diets to manage your blood sugar levels. There are therapeutic diets to manage hypertension, the DASH diet, for example, the keto diet, the paleo diet, the intermittent fasting diet. None of these diets are therapeutic. And therefore, I would advise you to please consult your doctor, let him advise you on the type of diet that you should have. Please do not use diets as an OTC recommendation of dieting simply because you have read about it or your friend has told you about it. Consider me a friend, and I'm telling you this. Please have a balanced diet. Eat less food at night. Do your exercise every day. For therapeutics, blood pressure, diabetes, cardiac ailments, cancer, please consult your doctor. He will modify the diet that I have suggested. Do not undertake these popular diets on your own.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So there are many questions and we are running out of time. So I will just simply combine two questions. Sujita has asked, there are many formats of exercise. What do you suggest the best to lose weight? And second question, which I would like to add is, Lugna has asked, everyday walking for an hour is enough or joining a gym is also needed to be combined?
Okay, I will answer both questions. What is the best exercise to lose weight? Well, my best recommendation to Sujita for what is the best exercise to lose weight is 1 hour of exercise every day. Now, what should that exercise be? It really doesn't matter, because by exercising, you will burn 500 or 600 calories. That is what results in weight loss. Now, my recommendation to an individual who is overweight is, please walk or swim. Please do your mobility exercises. Certainly, please go to the gym. All of these things help. There is no specific exercise that will help you to lose weight. All exercises help you to lose weight. I'll say that with a rider. Walking, cycling, jogging, and swimming will burn calories and improve your cardiorespiratory factors, heart and lung. Going to the gym or doing strength exercises will strengthen your muscles. Doing mobility exercise and yoga will improve your joints. All of these are necessary. A general program is far better than a specific program that you are looking for. Now, there was a question about walking. I forget what it was. I can't hear you, Dr. W. You're muted.
Sorry. Rugna has asked whether 1 hour of walking is sufficient or combination of gym is to be there.
My best recommendation, 1 hour of walking is excellent. Now, if you walk for 1 hour in the morning, and if you are really overweight, you can just as well walk for an hour in the evening, or better than that, walk for half an hour in the morning, increase your metabolism, walk for half an hour in the evening. Your metabolism will carry for 3 or 4 hours, even while you are sitting. Exercising twice a day is excellent for individuals who are overweight. That's point number 1. Another way to improve your metabolism is by increasing your muscle mass. Going to the gym is the best thing you can do to increase and strengthen your muscle mass. When you go to the gym, you automatically increase your metabolism. So therefore, my recommendation to the questioner is simple. Do both. Please, 3 days a week, walk, 3 days a week, exercise. Or alternatively, morning walk, evening exercise. Or alternatively, half an hour walk, half an hour gym. Combine these two things. It's like having plain bread on the one hand and bread and butter on the other hand. By combining two things, it always has a better effect.
Thank you, Professor, for a wonderful answer. Sir, there are many questions, but I will take only 2 questions which are very interesting. The rest we can reply on the email. Dulhan Anwar is asking how to calculate calories of each meal. You have answered this, you have given the information where the information will be found. And what is the best method to calculate?
You know, I have already mentioned. Now, I wonder if Mr. Anwar is interested in knowing the exact calories of the food that he's eating. If you are seriously interested in knowing the exact quantity of the food that you're eating, then the best method is the weight method, which means you weigh the food and then multiply it into 5 and divide it by 2. It's a complex formula, okay? It lets you know exactly how many calories you're eating. The other way to do this is you take a standard plate, a standard serving plate, fill it with the food that you want to eat. This will be equivalent to 600 calories. This is a general indicator. A standard table plate will carry 600 calories of food. Some of it will be protein, some of it will be carbohydrate, some of it will be cheese, etc. But it will be 600 calories. However, if Mr. Anwar is keen to know exactly how much he is eating, then I would recommend to Mr. Anwar to please go on to the onto the Weight Loss Challenge website, click on health support or health information. You will find that there is a book called the Good Health Book over there. It has the exact calorie value of any food that you can think about. And that will help you to understand exactly how many calories you're eating. And in case you have any issues with that, give Dr. Wilco a call. He will help you. You're muted, Dr. W.
Sorry. I will take the last question because this is very interesting. Every time any participant or client used to say this. Shagufta Masood is saying, actually this is a concern and it's a very beautiful question also. I'm doing exercise and walking, losing weight, but again, she puts on after some time. Please guide. So this is what post losing weight has to be maintained.
Okay. Now here is an individual who is doing everything that needs to be done. Okay. You are going for a walk, you are doing your exercise, and you are putting on weight after you give up. Well, you are putting on weight for under 2 circumstances. One is that you stop losing weight, and the second is that you perhaps give up the activity or give up the diet and then put on weight. Friends, understand this. Lifestyle activity is a lifetime activity. It carries on forever. The benefit is not only in weight loss. The benefit is it strengthens your heart, it improves your circulation, it improves the lungs, it improves your muscle, it improves your sleep, it reduces anxiety. These are the multifold benefits of exercise and diet. As long as you are exercising and dieting, you will have tremendous benefits. The minute you stop, you will find that the benefits are far less. But don't worry, get back to it. Now, if there is a situation in which the individual is grossly obese and continues to put on weight or stops losing weight in spite of any lifestyle activity, then you must consult your doctor. Your problem could certainly be hormonic. It is possible that there are problems or that there are variations in your hormone levels, your thyroid or whatever. Consult your doctor. Your doctor may find it important or essential or necessary to give you medication in order to lose weight. So, to wrap up this answer, exercising on a daily basis has profound benefits beyond weight loss. Please do not give it up simply because you do not lose weight. However, in my opinion, if you maintain a calorie diet of 1000 calories and you exercise for 1 hour every day, your body metabolism will automatically adapt to your current scenario. Your body's set point will drop and you will find that you will lose weight over a period of time. If this does not happen and you are having issues, medical ailments and medical problems because of your obesity, please consult your doctor. Urgent and immediate solutions come from medical support. Lifestyle solutions will benefit you over time.
Thank you, sir. So still there are many questions coming up in the chat box also in WhatsApp and email. Mostly are connected to medical origins. So I would like everyone to inform next webinar will be for a medical management. So it will be appropriate to ask these questions over there. So for now, sir, we'll be winding up. Lailin, over to you, please.
Thank you, Dr. Wilco. We would like to thank each and every one of our participants who took time to join us in today's webinar. A special thank you goes to Professor Kennedy. Thank you, Professor, for sharing your insights, knowledge, and expertise. I myself has learned a lot from you today, and I'm sure all the participants did too. A big thank you. Special thank you to Dr. Wilco, our ever energetic doctor. Thank you. And a big thank you as well to our RAC Hospital and Arabian Wellness team who are working so hard behind the scenes to make these webinars possible. Thank you. Our next OB-Beat webinar will be next Friday, the 3rd of February at the same time, 11 a.m. The topic would be Obesity and Clinical Management by Dr. Hala Yusuf Hamdi. She is a specialist endocrinologist in RAC Hospital. We are hoping to see everyone next Friday. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice day.